Before you dive into the deep end, you need to know how to swim. The same goes for investing and trading crypto assets. At the end of this section, you'll be able to access the crypto markets via an exchange, identify different types of wallets for your crypto assets, and connect to multiple exchanges. Now, when you're considering buying any crypto asset, the first thing you have to think about is where I'm going to buy a crypto. And it's not like other asset classes. For instance, in the stock market, if you want to buy a stock, you can log into E-Trade or TD Ameritrade, type in the ticker symbol, and you can automatically buy it. In crypto, things are a bit different. And so there are some key considerations you have to think about before you buy a crypto asset. The first is fiat to crypto. Now, to move into these markets, there are only a limited number of exchanges that take either US dollars, euros, or yen. So you have to find what those exchanges are and exchange them for some of the crypto reserves. For instance, Coinbase accepts Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. The next consideration is location. There are some geographic limitations and restrictions as to what exchanges you can use, especially if you're a US customer. So this is a consideration when choosing an exchange. And lastly, you have to think about which coins you want to trade. Not every exchange supports every altcoin. So if you go to coinmarketcap.com and you pick a specific ticker symbol and then click on markets, you can identify what exchanges trade the coins that you're looking to trade. Now, a couple examples of major exchanges are Coinbase, which is connected to the GDAX exchange. Now, Coinbase is US-based. They have over 13 million customers. They've just recently passed Schwab in the number of customers, and they're the largest exchange in the US. But Coinbase has its limitations. You can only buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash. You can't buy any altcoins. Now, to do that, you have to purchase one of these crypto reserves on Coinbase and then transfer them to another exchange, such as Bittrex. Now, Bittrex is a US-based exchange that was founded by a couple of Amazon engineers that supports about 100 different crypto pairs. Another exchange is Binance. Binance is similar to Bittrex, except it's based in Hong Kong, and it's definitely not as user-friendly as Bittrex is. Another exchange is Bitfinex, which is the largest altcoin exchange. However, it's restricted to US customers. And finally, in the United States, you've got Poloniex. Poloniex is restricted in New York State. You can't access it because of the New York BIT license. So if you live in certain areas like New York, you cannot access Poloniex to trade altcoin pairs. One other thing about Poloniex, as we're filming this, they were just bought yesterday by a Goldman Sachs startup for $400 million. And what that tells me is that there are some major investments going into these exchanges that are really going to help with the user experience in the future. Now, let's do a live login to Coinbase to show you exactly what these exchanges look like. So here's the main dashboard for Coinbase. You can see it's a very user-friendly layout. I would note that Coinbase offers FDIC insurance up to $250,000. So any funds you might have in US dollars are secure on Coinbase. And if you look at how Coinbase is laid out, it gives you the four main crypto reserves to buy: Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Litecoin. There's a pretty interesting chart functionality here where you can switch between different time frames. So you can see how Bitcoin performed in the last year, up $9,500 or 796%. It lays out your portfolio really nicely and also gives you a recent activity. Now, something that might be a little different between Coinbase and other and stock trading platforms are the Accounts tab. When you click on the Accounts tab, what you have here are wallets. And the wallets don't really hold your digital coins. They just hold your key. And that's basically that you have these coins reserved on that specific blockchain. And I'll talk more about that in future lessons. But just so you know, here on Coinbase, you get every wallet. If I click on my Ethereum wallet, I can see the transactions that happen in this Ethereum account where I sent Ethereum to over the last month. So let me just click on the Bitcoin wallet and show you something. So in a date in the recent past, I sent Bitcoin to this Bitcoin address. And if I click on this, it tells me how much Bitcoin I sent, where it was sent, and then how many confirmations it's had so far. And what these confirmations represent are blocks. And this 1841 means that there have been 1,841 Bitcoin blocks created since I sent this confirmation. And the further back in the past that these confirmations go, the more secure this transaction is. Now, if I highlight this exact address and I copy it, and I go to a website such as blockchain.info, I am able to click on the search tab, paste that address in the search tab, and actually search for that wallet. So I can see the wallet history that's happened since this wallet was open. And you'll see here that here's the address, and here's the hash symbol. This is the basically notifies where this sits on the blockchain, along with other transactions. It's got 2 transactions so far in this wallet, and it's received 0.009 BTC, which is equivalent to about $100. So you'll notice that there's a history of every transaction that's happened in the Bitcoin blockchain. And if you have that specific public address, you can go see how many coins were sent to it or how many coins were sent out of it. And this is one interesting feature about the Bitcoin blockchain and any blockchain, is that there's a public record of any funds that were sent or received. So blockchain info is a very effective tool in searching for a public address that identifies a wallet on the blockchain. In our next lesson, we'll get more into wallets and exactly how they work and the different types of them and the different security features. Now, the term crypto wallets is kind of a misnomer. When you think of a wallet, you think of something that's in your pocket that you can pull out that has cash or credit cards or coins in. In the crypto world, a wallet doesn't store your coins. Your coins are always held on the blockchain. What a wallet is, it's a piece of software that stores both your public and private keys. Now, if you have both public and private keys, this allows you to send and receive any of your digital assets on the blockchain. But you can't do that unless you have the private keys. Now, I showed you that the public keys are fine. Anyone can look at your wallet. They can see what transactions occurred on it on the blockchain. However, you can't move those coins unless you have access to the private keys. Now, there's a couple different ways of storing your crypto that are really important to highlight: hot wallets and cold storage. Now, in a hot wallet, it's something that's held online, and this can happen if you hold coins on a crypto exchange or in a desktop wallet or even on a web wallet. Now, with hot wallets, they're really convenient, but your coins are never fully secure. Anyone that hacks into this exchange is going to have access to your coins. Anyone that puts a virus on your desktop can also have access to your coins because now they have the private key and they can move those coins out. With cold storage, however, everything's held offline. You can hold them on a hardware device, or you can just write down or print out your public and private keys on a piece of paper. Now, with cold storage, they're much more secure than hot wallets, but they're not convenient because if you want to trade the Bitcoin that's held on your cold storage on a piece of paper, you first have to move those coins to an exchange that lets you trade against. So these are the key differences to understand when you're thinking about what type of wallet you should use to secure your crypto assets. So let's discuss the different types of wallets. What are they, and what purposes do they serve? And also talk about some pros and cons of each. Now, in the wallet space, the most prevalent wallet is going to be your web wallet. And the reason for this is that any coin or digital asset that you hold on an exchange is held in a web wallet. The exchange holds both your public keys and your private keys. And that means anyone who hacks into an exchange has access to your digital assets. And we've seen hacks before, most notably with the Mt. Gox attack in 2013. Now, the second type of wallet is known as a desktop wallet. So this is a piece of software that you can download to your computer, and you can move your private keys in there. And so the only access that someone would have is if they have access to your computer. The problem with this is if you download malware or some type of virus, someone can hack into your desktop wallet and move your coins elsewhere. The next type of wallet is a mobile wallet. And so a mobile wallet is similar to a web wallet, but it's something that holds your private keys on your phone. Now, obviously your phone has a lot of security. Most phones either have Face ID or Touch ID. The problem with mobile wallets is that if someone calls your cell phone provider and proves that it's you and clones your phone, they immediately have access to all of your coins that are stored, or your private key that's stored on your mobile wallet. The next type of wallet are hardware wallets. So this is a USB stick that you can plug into your computer, and you can move your private keys off your computer safely onto a hardware device. Now, what's interesting about that is that someone would need that piece of hardware in order to access your private keys. So you can store this piece of hardware or USB stick in a vault somewhere or in a safe at a bank. And lastly, you've got paper wallets. Now, paper wallets and hardware wallets are cold storage. A paper wallet is just going to save your public key and your private key in a way that you can easily store it somewhere. So those are the 5 different types of wallets with some pros and cons. And a couple things to keep in mind, that every time you set up a wallet, you should have a mnemonic phrase. So this is a phrase of 20 words that can identify and recreate that wallet elsewhere. So if you were to lose your hardware wallet, for instance, if you have your mnemonic phrase, you can buy another hardware wallet and restore the same assets or digital assets and private keys on a separate device. The second is that you need to keep your software upgraded. Make sure you have the most recent downloads, and make sure these are secure downloads coming from the programmers themselves. And lastly, always use two-factor authentication. 2FA is an app that you can have on your mobile device that gives you a random string of numbers that you need to input before you access any of your wallets. So that concludes our section on preparation. Now from this section, you should be able to access the crypto markets via an exchange. You should be able to identify the different types of wallets that you can store your crypto assets in. And you should be able to connect to multiple exchanges.